with the times, and welcome to this edition of Silicon Grapevine. My guest today is Rupert Baines, who's a serial entrepreneur and been involved in the electronics industry for years and years. Rupert, hello, how are you?
Good morning, Nitin. Lovely to be here.
Good to see you again. I mean, we always meet at conferences, and we've never actually sat down to have this conversation. So
let's do it.
Yes. The idea of the show is just to go a little bit into your background, how you got into electronics and what kind of things you're doing right now. But let's start off with, you've been involved in lots of businesses, but currently what are your roles?
I'm chairman of a couple of different startups, helping them out, helping them grow, trying to pass on some of my experience, good and bad.
And those startups, so you're involved with like...
Forefront RF is one, Cambridge-based, doing some very clever stuff around RF. Ran Semi over in Bristol, a team I've worked with many times over the years, doing 5G and 6G. Thalia, doing analog EDA, things like that.
Okay. So I think you've got a portfolio of activity, and I think you have had over the last, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, since the Ultrasoc, because you were with Ultrasoc and then that got acquired by Siemens.
That's right.
So after that, I think you started a bit of a portfolio career.
So Ultrasoc was a really good journey. I joined in 2015 and it was small and not really going anywhere. We built it up, some amazing customers, a really wonderful team, and sold to Siemens in 2020.
Right.
After that, I actually went to work for Codicip doing RISC-V.
Got it.
I was there for about 3 years working for a gentleman called Ron Black, who was an industry legend.
Yes, we know him. We've covered him many times as well.
As you say, now I've decided to go parallel, doing several different things at the same time.
Let's go back then a little bit in terms of your journey. I think I first came across you when you were with... what was it called? Was it Picochip or?
That was Picochip.
Picochip, back in 1998.
Oh, that dates us, doesn't it?
And that was one of the ARC licensees. I was part of ARC. But let's go further back. Tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get into electronics?
As a teenager, typical nerdy, interested in science, liked making things, built an AM radio on... I was thinking about this the other day. We used the term breadboard, but it was literally a breadboard. It was a piece of wood and you screwed things in and wired the transistors together by hand, held together on a chunk of wood.
Yeah.
And that was I was probably 11 or something. And then built my own Sinclair ZX80 computer.
Built it?
Built it. It was cheaper if you bought the kit or sold it.
Okay, because I bought the assembled kit.
I saved 20 quid or something.
Yeah. With your pocket money, that was actually
it's quite significant.
Yeah.
And then went to university to study electronics.
Okay.
And
where did you study?
I went to Hull.
Hull, okay, in the UK.
The frozen north in the UK. Bit of a grim city, but I had a great time. Graduated with what you would now call an MEng, 4-year degree.
Yes.
And immediately did a startup. So my first startup was straight out of university, partly with the logic I was having a lot of fun there and didn't want to move. Partly a friend and I had an idea for something we thought could fly. So as the saying goes, we didn't know what we didn't know. Turned out what we didn't know was actually quite a lot.
Okay.
But it was a good journey.
So how long did that last and what was it? What did you do?
A company called Andromeda Systems.
Okay.
And it started as power line communication. Something you can now buy, from a shop using the mains cable, 240 volt mains cable as an interconnect. A painful experience physically, because if you get something wrong, it's not the 5 volts that you don't notice, it's
240 volts. Yes.
We drifted into being a consultancy organisation, services. The other guy was happy with that. I wasn't. So I left.
So this would have been what, 19?
This was about 80.
Oh.
18. I left in 89.
89, okay.
Moved to London, went to work for a marketing company, PR agency. If you remember EML. became
I
wildfire.
do remember. Yes, yeah.
Did that for a couple of years.
Because they were pretty much the one of the leading agencies in the electronics industry. I mean, there were two or three.
There were two or three others, but
Yeah.
yeah. So very, very good experience. One of the things I learned from Andromeda was I was not actually a very good engineer.
Okay.
I liked technology, I understood it, but when it came to implementation, there were people who were a lot better than me.
Okay.
So the famous thing, there's a 10x engineer. I'm not sure anyone's described it as a 0.1x, but that was probably me.
Well, you know,
So then I did an MBA. I wanted to do more. I wanted to move into the business side. So I went over to Barcelona and did an MBA in Barcelona, which also included a semester at Wharton.
oh,
And I
okay.
discovered I liked the business side. It was a better fit for me, but I liked technology. I liked engineering. So I didn't go into the city or consulting. I stayed in the industry.
It's interesting. I mean, when you say I studied electronic engineering as well, but when
How did you do?
City
Okay,
University.
yeah.
But it was I took the year out at NetSemi as an engineer, and then it was 1986 when I graduated, and they'd closed the Greenup fab, so there were no jobs. So then, what do? Ended up as an editor of a magazine called Silicon Design. But then, what I thought I was quite good at then is telling electronics as a story, which I think that's and
I think it's same thing. It's I'm a translator.
Yeah.
I can speak human speak and I can speak electronics and talk to a customer and listen to a customer about what they want and what's important to take it back into the company.
Right. So after the PR agency, then what happened next?
I went to work in the States. I did the MBA and I went to work in the States for Analog Devices.
Oh, okay.
And lovely, lovely company. Really enjoyed my time I was in Boston mostly. And I ended up running a product line this was the time the internet was just coming along, initially working on dial-up modems, but I set up the group to do broadband.
Wow.
So
were you working with
BSL.
Tom Irwin that time? Or was that after?
No,
Yeah.
no. I mean, Vincent, who became the CEO, was there at the time. Some very, very good people.
Right.
You know, really rate that company.
So broadband, I think that was
Broadband. And then that got me into the comms space. Came back to Europe, did various different jobs, spells here, spells there, worked for a VC fund for a while. And that VC fund invested in Picochip.
Ah, okay.
And I did that deal. I was the internal lead on it. And I just decided this is a brilliant company and I want to be playing the game, not watching the game. So I joined Picochip as CMO early 2000s and we was there for 10 years doing chips for wireless infrastructure.
What happened to Picochip?
We had a great ride and then in the end it was an exit. We were acquired by Mindspeed in the US.
Right. I do remember.
One of the ex-Connexent cluster, that family.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
So I spent a while commuting to Southern California. I had a young family, didn't want to move.
Yeah.
They liked me, wanted me, but commuting to Orange County was a bit of a pain. So I left. Shortly afterwards, they got bought by Intel. So there was a group, this is a lovely story actually, there is a group within Intel, which is the remnants of Picochip.
Yeah.
And there was actually part of the Xeon ISA with its origins back into Picochip. So
that's so good.
Intel, that group, that product line is in the news just now.
Yes.
But a lot of the origins for it date all the way back to above a women's clothing shop in downtown Bath.
I remember. And you know what? When you were at Picochip, I think I remember because we started the chili. Bipin Parmar was on it.
Of course you did, yeah.
And you were one of the few companies that actually understood what we did. And you bought, we did a due diligence on Picochip as we did on many years. I think you bought it as a reprint to pitch to your investors.
I've forgotten that.
Yeah, I still have them in my office.
I remember chili and like many of these things in technology, this room is probably full of people who said, I had the right idea, I was just a few years too early.
Exactly.
You think now of that space, doing due diligence, doing deep expertise, understand the startup ecosystem.
Yeah.
Very du jour, sifted, semi-analysis,
Exactly.
Dylan.
Yeah.
You were just ahead of the time.
And I think I learned, because Bipin was basically with Gartner, DataQuest with a semiconductor group, and then
Yeah.
I think prior to that Fairchild. But the point is, he was so perceptive and incisive as well. So we made a few enemies as well.
So after Picochip, again, did a few years of consulting, a few other things, and then, as I said, Ultrasoc, seeing it from turnaround through to very nice exit.
And after Ultrasoc, what did you feel? Did you feel like a sense of achievement? Because one of the things I see with a lot of people in our industry is they don't just go on and sit on a boat. Well, apart from the ex-CEO of ARC, he did go and sit on a boat. My point is, they want to then go and do something else, even though they don't have to. What was your feeling then?
Very much that. I think we're all engineers by background in heart, and you want to make a difference. You want to do something. I don't think anyone goes into engineering because it's a cushy life. You want to be stretched. You want to be solving problems. And if you've had the experience of doing a startup, for good or bad, you tend to want to do more of them. It's an addictive thing.
So one of the things I always ask the guests on this show is, what are the lessons you've learned from some of the things you've done? What are the biggest lessons? You don't want to highlight anything specific that you think, well, that was a game changer or a light bulb moment for me?
There's an awful lot of help out there. This is a remarkably collegiate industry. There are some domains where people are very cutthroat. Electronics isn't one. The global industry, but within the UK, there's a lot of people who are willing to help, willing to give their time and take advantage of that. If you're the new graduate thinking about where to go and work, ask people, network, drop them a line on LinkedIn. If you're thinking of a startup, go to one of the events, have a word with Deep Tech Labs or Chipstart or Knitting. And people will be
I do get those requests, by the way,
to share their thoughts and make contacts. And you can't do a startup on your own. You can't build a career on your own. Take advantage of the help that's out there.
Are there any people that you think have influenced you, or you strong mentors that you think, they really do stand out in my mind?
So many. I mean, that's, again, I do a degree of mentoring with people, and it's part of payback for the time and the people who supported me over the years. Back to EML, Richard and Jeff, really good grounding in technology marketing, how to think about what matters to a customer. Guy called Ian at Analog Devices, my first proper, product line role, very good mentor. Guillaume de Sautier, industry name, CEO of Picochip. We're still in touch. I've learned so much from many, many people.
One of the things I think you epitomize for me is just the fact that we talk about engineers not being very good at marketing and commercial, but what you've done is you've grasped that as an engineer and become somebody who can take that to a commercial success. And I think that's kind of what I see as a pattern with what you've been doing.
Thank you very much. That's very kind. No, I'll take the compliments.
But no, seriously. So I think there is something to learn from that for people. I think when we talk about engineers not being very good, is there something that we can sort of translate to say, well, look, this is how people should be thinking?
There is. I mean, as I said, part of it is things like thinking about things from the customer. What matters to a customer? Are you the famous buzzword? Are you selling vitamins or aspirin? That if someone's got a problem, they'll pay money to fix the problem. How do you solve problems? Taking it up a level, I think this is something the US is very good at. The engineering culture, the startup culture in Silicon Valley particularly, big focus on go-to-market, on how do you market, how do you promote. The UK has historically been very bad at that. We've got brilliant engineers.
Apart from people like Robin Saxby.
That's what I was going to say. Is we've got brilliant engineers and brilliant talent, but there are only a few iconic people who've done that. So Robin, Stan,
Yes.
Jalal,
Yes.
we've got them.
Yeah.
And they've got that ability to communicate, to think. But it's good how the industry is changing. As we have more of a startup culture, we're growing that ecosystem, we're growing that network, and we also now understand this. And there are enough people who've been through the loop. You've got, second generation founders, people who they were VP of engineering, their company was sold, they then go on to be CEO in the next one.
Yeah.
And we're building it up. And I think that snowball effect is going to be very, very powerful.
I see it not just in the UK, I see it in very many countries I travel to. But we could talk forever on this. What are the big challenges, do you think, in the industry right now?
Skills.
I
think, one of my roles, I chaired a working group that reported into DSIT. And
DSIT is a UK Department of Science, Innovation and Technology.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So for the first time in perhaps 40 years, and it started under the last administration, under Sunak, but Starmer has continued it, there is a government attitude towards supporting technology business. And I think that's really positive and really good. And the team, the civil servants within the department, the politicians are actually keen to make a difference. And we wrote this report. We had about a dozen recommendations, but one of the key things that came out was skills. Engineering, semiconductors, in the US, in Europe, is an aging industry. Not enough young people are going into it, and the diversity is still terrible.
Right.
So it's interestingly, it's very different in Asia. If you go to China, lots of young people studying engineering. You go to Taiwan, perhaps 50% female. In the UK, far less. So we have a shortage of talent. And when we were doing that report, that was one of the big things that came out.
In the Middle East also, I see the pipeline, a lot of female electronic engineers.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So you see that from Egypt and various other countries.
So I'm involved. I know you've done a lot of work with UK ESF.
Yes.
The schemes that they run.
This is the UK Electronic Skills Foundation.
Sorry,
yeah.
I am.
We're
The world of
acronyms.
electronics, we are full of acronyms.
Correct.
I forget to say them.
Yeah.
So UK ESF is a UK charity that is encouraging kids to study electronics. It starts at primary school with play kits, goes through secondary school to get them more interested, support for teachers, encouraging 16, 17-year-olds to apply for electronics at university, and then at university, mentoring them, supporting them, and running internship programs to get a job.
Right. And
Very good program.
Yeah. And Apple is also involved in
Apple
supporting
is heavily
that.
involved.
Yeah.
Apple sponsors the program, particularly for female students.
That's right.
But unless we have the talent, and this is not just graduate engineers, apprenticeships, technicians, researchers, postgrads, the whole community, you can't do the work.
Yeah. So, Rupert, I'm going to sort of come to a conclusion here. One of the things I always ask the guests is, what is it that you would advise young Rupert, knowing what you know today, coming out of...
Just go for it. Go for it. There's a quote by Goethe I quite like, which is, be bold. Boldness has a power and a grandeur. If you can dream it, you can do it. And I think that applies to many domains in life. Young Rupert didn't know that.
Well, Rupert, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.